Jevam's Research Channel. Be advised that this channel is not for anyone under the age of 18. Also, the research and discoveries of this channel should not ever reflect the personal opinion or views of Jevam or her team unless publicly stated. Please understand that the opinions of the audience is also not a reflection of what or how Jevam feels. Let's bring a curious mind and open heart to these spaces for educational purposes only.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you so much sooner than later. I am normally taking big breaks between videos. And with that being said, I definitely am excited about bringing you this find of mine, which tells the truth of the real Baphomet. Hello, Dithyramb. Good to see you. So the truth of the real Baphomet is it is an ancient Greek festival and holiday, okay? Where they got the name, how you all know how names can be switched up and changed, even just a little bit. A little bit, you can call it bastardized or whatever you will. But truth remains that I'm going to show proof cause as to where this name came from. All right. And we're going to go back into Themis by Jane Harrison. I absolutely am getting really good at doing a lot of remote viewing into the past and bringing it into the future and seeing how it all connects together. So before I do, let's see. I thought about making a cup of tea, but I didn't. And yes, there's a new banner. Apologies for mispronouncing words. Jevam has this. Yes, I have dyslexia, but I also do not read the Greek or the Latin or the really tiny fine print. I don't read that either at all. So let's see. I'm going to do a screen share. And I wanted to share this video, and it's titled, the Templars believe Yahweh, was not the true God. This is why they were suppressed. So the Templars are sounding more Gnostic. Okay, let's see. Did I pull it up for you? Hold on, let me make sure I get it up there. Hello, Susan. Good to see you. Hello. Nice to see you. So we're going to go look at this channel for just a minute, and then we're going to get into the text. The Templars believed that Yahweh was not the true God. Okay. The idea that the Knights Templar were a satanic cult worshiping Baphomet was not a discovery. It was a fabrication. Tim traces it directly to its source, the Roman Catholic Church, which in 1307 accused the order of heresy and manufactured a series of charges designed to justify the suppression and destroy the Templar reputation permanently. The Baphomet accusation was propaganda deployed by the institution that stood the loss of the most from what the Templars actually believed. What the Templars actually believed was Gnostic, and Tim identifies the specific idea that made them genuinely dangerous to the Roman Church. The God named in the Old and New Testaments as Yahweh was not, in the Templars' understanding, the true source or monad of all creation. Yahweh was an extension of that consciousness, one that had gone wrong and had come to believe itself to be the only God. That distinction between the true source and a lesser mistaken divine authority is the core of Gnostic theology. There's a lot to read. No, just a little bit more. And it is an idea that strikes at the very foundation of the institutional church's claim to represent the one true God. Tim argues that the belief, more than anything else, is the real reason the Templars had to be destroyed. Okay, let's get into the video. Hold on, I'm going to reload it. Let's reload.
Some people believe that the Templar Order was some sort of a satanic cult that worshipped Baphomet, which was an idea that was propagated by the Roman Church. When the Roman Church suppressed it in 1307, they accused the Templar Order of all kinds of heretical ideas, including this idea that the Templar Order worshipped this secret Baphomet and that it was a secret satanic tradition. The Templar Order was in no way satanic. Being Gnostic, it did have different ideas about doctrine. One of the dangerous ideas that the Templar Order believed is that the God mentioned in the New Testament or the Old Testament as Yahweh, it wasn't the true source or monad, but was rather an extension of that consciousness that had gone wrong and had believed itself to be the only God. Some people believe that.
Okay, now I believe he says that he is a Templar, so that would be very interesting to be able to talk to him to see what he thinks about what Jane Harrison has to say in Themis about Baphomet. Can you read card, please? Yes, if you want to stick around till after I get through with this chapter's reading, I would gladly give you a reading, or you can come back, keep checking back for a reading. Where am I from? I'm in Tennessee. All right, so look what I got. This is the Themis, and I'm reading from archive.org, y'all. I have to make it big so I don't have to be right up on the screen. I don't like that. So the Dithyramb, the Spring Festival, and the Hagia Triada sarcophagos, like sarcophagi, but sarcophagos. All right, we have some Greek and we have some Latin. The painted stone sarcophagus, which forms in the sense of text of the present chapter, is now in the Museum of Chandia, but it was found in 1903, not at Knossos, or Knossos, but close to the palace of Hagia Triada at Fastios. I wonder if that's still standing. Would you all want to look at it with me? Let me see. Let me see if I can copy that and then see if there's any way to. Oh my goodness, it's still standing, y'all. Y'all want to see pretty pictures? Wow. Here's a color picture. And that says it is from the sarcophagus of Hagia Triada Fastos. Isn't that amazing? I think it's pretty cool. Let's see if there's any more. Can you all still see it? Let's see. Let's make sure you can see it. Yep, you can still see it. Okay. So this is Minoan. This is ancient, y'all. Ancient, 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 ancient. Okay. So we're getting back to the book. I wanted to show you colored. I mean, it's over here. See, we're looking at the same thing over here, but it's in black and white because this book is old. Well, it's not the same. It's similar. You can definitely tell the artwork is the same. Okay, back on topic. Okay. That's on the southern coast of Crete. Immediately on its discovery, its great importance was recognized. And as there was fear of these frescoes fading, it was promptly carried on the shoulders of men, a 3 days journey across the island to the Museum of Candia. My cats are going nuts right now. You're probably going to hear a lot of ruckus. Okay, where it could be safely housed. The tomb in which the sarcophagus was found is of a type familiar in Lycia, but not in Crete. It consists of a walled square chamber with a door at the northwest corner, somewhat after the fashion of the Harpy tomb now in the British Museum. Y'all want to try to find the Harpy tomb? Yes, Kitty. Oh, there's one in Turkey. I have to wonder about these chimeras, really, and their purpose. That's so friggin' cool, y'all. That's so cool. Okay, let's go back. Shoot. Okay. This analogy is not without its importance, as the scenes represent, if we are rightly interpret them, embody conceptions familiar in Asia Minor. Inside the tomb enclosure were found 2 sarcophagi, the large painted stone sarcophagus now before us, and a smaller one in terracotta. The discoverer, Dr. Holber, dates the tomb and its contents from 1500 to 1300 BC. So this is ancient. Hello, yes, my name is Jevum. Yeah, my name is Jevum. That's my name. Okay. We begin with the principal scenes depicted on the 2 long sides of the sarcophagus. The first with the scene in figure 30. In the center we have the sacrifice of the bull of the kind which large carved horns, once common in the Aegean, now extinct. Sorry. Wow. So, yeah, they drove them into extinction. They sacrificed them into extinction. Wow. He is dying, not dead. His tail is still alive and his pathetic eyes wide open, but the flute player is playing and the blood flows from the bull's neck into a situla bowl below. Oh, letting it hear music as it dies. 2 Cretan goats with twisted horns lie beneath the sacrificial table on which the bull is bound. So these things, the bull and the goat, apparently are, sisters in the sacrifice, it looks like. They will come next. Yeah. The precision of 5 women comes up to the table with foremost places. The foremost places her hands on or towards the bull as though she would be in touch with him and his manna. She will consecrate, I think, not him, but herself. Put herself in touch with his great life, which ebbs with the flowing blood. So she's baptizing herself. She's blessing herself with his blood flow. Why does he die? In the light of the last chapter, we might safely assume that he died because his sacrificers desired his manna. But on the sarcophagus, we have no communal feast, nor is there present the figure of any Olympian to receive the bull's blood as a gift offering. That makes me think about those big sarcophagi that they found, those big bull or the big cow sarcophagi in Egypt. Yeah. How then is it to be made effectively? A clue will be found in the scene immediately to the right of the bull, a scene not a little surprising. But before we pass to this scene, some details of the bull sacrifice must be noted. After what has been said about sacrifice, we understand the pathetic figure of the slain bull huddled up with sad, despairing face. Very literally, he dies for the people, that they may have new life, new manna, his life and his lifeblood. So it's like through his essence, through, the nutrition of him dying and them taking in. We are reminded of the scene in the Odyssey where the heifer is sacrificed to Athena. Then straightway Nestor's son stood near and struck the tendons of the neck. The axe cut through and loosed the heifer's might. And as the life is let loose, the women raised their cry of apotropic limitation there. I don't know that word. Need to copy it and see if I can see what that word is. They're crying out. They probably loved it, nourished it, worshipped it. Well, Google really sucks, and that copied weird. So it didn't copy correctly. So no, we're not going to look at that. It is a moment of high tension, for the life with all its might and sanctity is aboard. Then to make assurance doubly sure and to get the actual vehicle of the life, the blood, they cut the victim's throat. The black blood gushed, the life had left the bones, and that gives us reference down here. Yeah. In Odyssey, here undoubtedly this Greek means that the strength of the heifer collapsed. She fell in a heap on the ground. But the idea was originally that something holy and perilous escaped. This is clear from the instant raising of the... I don't know what this is. I need to learn to read this Greek stuff because I really want to know what this is. That primary use to have been epitropic. Yeah. I don't know what that word is either because I'm going to look it up. Yeah. It's called, it's a form of magic to ward off or protect or protect magic is a type of magic intended to turn away from harm or evil influences, as in deflecting misfortune or averting the evil eye. Cool. It's very interesting because under this, let me show you. Under this word, look, what we have is looks like the pattern, this almost like the flower seed of life. Hey, Coffee, good to see you. Hey, we're learning about the true origins of Baphomet. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Hexafoil. It's a hexafoil, but if you look at the hexafoil and the seed, the flower of life, it's the same. Oh, I need the seed of life, not the flowers. The flower is multiple. Hold on. The seed of life. There we go. Okay, so looky here. Okay, wait. This is the germ of life right here. Seed of life, okay, and then flower of life. But look, it's the same as the hexafoil, just about. There's 6 petals here, and the hexafoil has got 6. Yeah, it's the same. It's raining info, hallelujah. It's raining info, hallelujah. I like this business. So we're just talking about sigils and charms. Sigils and charms to ward off evil. Now, evil to me would be the parasites that come along with eating meat. Okay, that's just me. Okay, where were we? Okay, we come now to the object of the sacrifice. On the extreme right of the design is a Mycenaean shrine with horns of consecration. Growing out from the middle of it, probably actually surrounded by it, is an unmistakable olive tree. Okay, olive leaf has a lot of anti-parasitic properties. Did y'all know that? It's really good to take if you have a cold. On a step in front of the shrine is the slender obelisk, and on, or rather halved into the obelisk, is our delight and amazement. To our delight and amazement, a sacred object now thrice familiar, a double axe, and perched on the double axe, a great black mottled bird. The conjunction rather takes our breath away. Sacred obelisk, we know of double axes as thunder symbols. Now listen, we were just talking about thunder symbols, and this is related to fertility, right? And orgasms. We have lately heard, perhaps enough. Birds are the familiar attributes of many an Olympian. But an obelisk and a double axe and a bird with a sacrificial bull and a Mycenaean tree shrine, who would have dared to forecast it? And what does it all mean? Before this question can be answered, we must turn to the other side of the sarcophagus in figure 31 and learn what is the sequel of the sacrifice. Hello, who is this trick or treat person? Oh my goodness. It's a Jivim. It's Jivim. Jevim. Sorry, I was spelling the name. Jevim. There you go. Okay. There is, as said before, no hint of a sacrificial banquet, but there are other means to connect of sacramental communion besides eating and drinking. The blood of the bull is not drunk by the worshipers. It's not. No. Okay. It is brought and poured. The liquid is read by a woman dressed in sacramental regiment from the situla into a great two-handled crater which stands between two obelisks, again surmounted by double axe and bird. So interesting. So they're given a portion to the divan. The woman's celibate is followed by another woman bearing two situlae on the pole over her shoulders, and by a man playing on the lyre. At this point, the scene clearly ends. The next figure, carrying a calf, turns his back and walks in the contrary direction. The distinction between the two scenes is, in the original, made clear by the differing colors and the background. So we have a quick note. Let's see. The sacrifice of the scene to the right will be considered later. Okay. Where was I? Okay. As to the double cultious object, the 2 points must be carefully noted. The two sets of double axes, or rather double axes, are not quite the same. Wow, so there's like meaning between two of them. The one to the right is decorated with cross stripes. That to the left is plain. The double axe on the red obelisk on the other side of the sarcophagus was similar cross markings. Further, the obelisk to the right is considerably taller than the obelisk on the left. That's interesting because that goes back into goddess worship and cannabis, hashish on the shorter right, and frankincense, incense being on the taller left that you went in and you fumigated yourself with. Okay, where was I? This is, I think, intentional, not due to either ascendant or perspective, but to the fact that they stand for masculine feminine potencies. The most surprising and significant difference in the cultist objects of the two sides yet remains. That's beautiful that they still did the balance, the bringing in of the energy and the balance between the pillars of mercy and severity on the Kabbalistic tree of life. Yeah, I see it now. I see it now. Yeah. Okay. The most surprising significant difference. Okay, I already read that. Okay, the obelisk in figure 30 is merely an obelisk painted red, and the two obelisks in figure 31 are bargaining out into leaves, and they are painted green. They are trees alive and blossoming. That is so freaking cool. I'm burning into, okay. Yeah, there you go. I'm every woman, right? Yeah, okay. There are not indeed actual trees, but mimic trees. Obelisk decked for ritual purpose with cypress leveled leaves, right? So that now we know the obelisk was our representation of trees and stature and energy life force, like the Deject pillar being the spinal column. Okay. The blood of the bull is brought to the two obelisks. It is abundantly clear that we have no gift offering to a divinity. Wow. Birds and thunder axes and trees have no normal natural use for warm blood. Well, that's true. The blood, the manna, must be brought with magical intent. Connected contact shit is to be effected between the unseen mystical manna of the bull and the manna of the tree. But on the sarcophagus, we do not need to see the actual contact, the actual communion effected. The priestess does not apply the blood, does not asparage the obelisk. So asparage would be like, would take a sprig and dip it in the blood and then sling it on there. Asparage, okay. The evidence of the sarcophagus can here be supplemented by the other sacrifices in which bulls and trees and tree posts are involved. In the island of the Atlantis Plato, let's go down here where we got, here's our credit. I don't know who that is. Okay. Plato describes as strange bull sacrifice, evidently founded on some actual primitive ritual. So these types of sacrifices go back a long way. But this does stay book away. What show Bob and Bojinda? You don't like old books? I love old books. I love old books. I cannot lie. No. The essential feature of this sacrifice was the actual contact of victim's blood with a pillar or post on which laws were engraved. Here we have direct contact with the object to be sacrificed. No altar or even table intervenes. It is sacrifice, i.e., magical contact in its most primitive form. Critias, in his, I hope it's Critias, in his description of the sunk island, says that in the center of it was a sanctuary to Poseidon, within which certain sacred bulls ranged freely. Poseidon, it may be noted in passing, is one of the gods who grew out of a bull. Oh Lord, here we go. It's some more Mithraic, like coming out of the bull and bull slaying, and this is so crazy. I feel like the heifer, the bull, is like a representation of the divine feminine. If you go back and you look at Hathor of ancient Egypt, you know, the goddess of love. Yeah. It's very interesting to me. Poseidon, it may be noted in passing, is one of the gods who grew of a bull. Okay, his wine bearers at Ephesus, were bulls. The wine bearers are bulls? Okay, that's got to be code. This just got to be code. Because Ephesus were bulls, his wine carriers at Ephesus. And that's all in Greek down there, so I don't know. I need to read it. And in answer to the imprecation of Theseus as a bull, he appears out of his own flood to wreck the chariot of Hippolytus. Let's see, that's in Greek too. It is to the Cretan Poseidon, not to Zeus, that Minos promised the sacrifice of his finest bull. Yeah. I think bulls are code for women. In the sanctuary of Poseidon was a column of orichalcum on which were inscribed the injunctions of Poseidon. I'm going to look up this word. Is this a certain type of stone? I don't know. It's a metal mentioned a lot surrounding the story of Atlantis. And there was some found, look here, there was some found. I should learn the words before I stream. I don't care to learn to know. No, I'm not going to try to learn. I know English, all right? And I have dyslexia, so I'm reading English. And trying to keep people dumbed down or quiet or not stream because they don't know the Greek is a form of bullying. And I don't want to be bullied on my stream. I understand the cult has me super popular right now. I'm a hot name going around. But if you're only here to bully, you can leave or get banned. Okay, where were we? Let's go back. Oops. I don't know why it shrinks down every time. Okay, here we are. No, go back. Which seem to have constituted the laws of the country. So that's really cool. So they take this very interesting element. It was second only to gold, and it had very high value. Let me go ahead and I want to learn more about this actually. Orichalcum may have been used in reference to a specific noble metal such as platinum, as it was supposed to be mined, but has been identified as pure copper or certain alloys of bronze, and especially brass alloys. Very interesting in the case of antique Roman coins and latter being of similar appearance to modern brass, according to scientific research. Yeah. It's so cool. I'll have to put all the links in there. Okay. Let's see, where was I? Okay, on the column beside the law was a curse invoking great maledications on the disobedient. Oh, wow. So this is how they brainwash people and conformed them into acting right. Now there were bulls who ranged free in the sanctuary of Poseidon, and the 10 kings who were alone in the sanctuary prayed to the god that they might take for victim the bull that was pleasing to him. And they hunted the bull without iron, with staves or snares. The bull, to be noted, is free because divine. Oh, crap. He is not smitten with a weapon, lest his mana probably should prematurely escape. So that says magic. They then lead the bull to the column and slew him against the top of the column over the writing. Oh, wow. Yeah. So they inscribed the metal with the curse, saying that you will be damned if you don't follow the law. And then they sacrificed the bull and poured the blood over it. Yeah. Yeah. The whole strength and mana of the bull is thus actually applied to, tied up with, the obokoi, maybe. I don't know. To make assurance doubly sure. They afterwards filled a bowl with wine, dropped into it a clot of blood for each of the kings, and then drank, swearing that they would judge according to the laws on the column. Such a sacrifice is pure magic. It has primarily nothing to do with a god, everything to do with magical conjunction of the mana of victim and sacrificer. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It has been happily suggested that the lost island of Atlantis reflects the manners and customs, the civilization generally of Crete, which after its great Minoan supremacy sank for the rest of Greece into a long oblivion. It is also very unlikely that Plato would invent ritual details which in his day would have but little significance. I guess I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. But we have definite evidence that the ritual described is actual, not from Crete, or actual, not imaginary, though this evidence comes not from Crete but from another region of the Mycenaean world. The coin of Ilium reproduced in figure 32, this one here. Can you all see it? Hold on. Maybe I should just make it super big. I don't have to be in view. There you go. All right. I have too many columns up. I was looking to see it live. Okay. Shows, I think, very clearly how the bull was sacrificed. Can you all see that? I don't know if y'all can see it or not. No, don't highlight. There we go. Can you all see that coin? Right here. The bull was brought up against the column. Oh, wow. I hope you can see that. I need to put that on my community list. See how the bull's kind of tied up right here? May have to squint. Okay. Okay. The human-shaped goddess, Athena Elias, is there with her fillet twined spear and her owl. But to the right is an older sanctity, a pillar onto which is hung a bull. Yeah. He will be sacrificed, not on the pillar's top, which would be extremely awkward, but with his head and his throat to be cut against the top, alongside of it. Oh, wow. Down over it. Oh, wow. That makes me think, guys, look. The Djet pillar of Osiris. The Djet pillar of Osiris has marks on it, right? Cut marks on it right here. If you were to use a pillar to sacrifice anything and you were to cut it, then you would be like cutting down the tree as with the sacrifice, or cutting. Now look at this one. That's amazing. This is like bound here. Do you all see the connections? That the divine, or rather the chief sanctity, let's see. Throat against the top alongside. Down over, okay. That in the divine, or rather the chief sanctity of Illuium, which was a pillar, is clear, I think, from the representation of figure 33. The ox, or rather cow, is still free and stands before the goddess. She has human shape, but she is standing on the pillar she once was. On the obverse of the other coin, she has left her pillar. Most remarkable and to use instructive of all is the design on the third coin of Ilium in figure 33. The goddess is present as, let me get this over, before, mounted on her pillar. Before her is the cow, suspended head uppermost on a tree. Behind the cow, and apparently seated on the tree, is the sacrificer, known by his short sleeve chiton. He has seized the horn of the cow in his left hand, and with his right he is about to cut her throat. The goddess may be may be present as much as she likes, but she was not the original object of the cow slaying. The intent is clear. The blood of the cow is to fall on the sacred tree and will bring it new manna. No other explanation can account for a method of sacrifice at once so difficult and so dangerous. Oh, wow. Yeah, could you imagine an angry bull or a cow trying to fight you? Yeah. The gist of bringing the bull's blood to the obelisk on the sarcophagus is then, in the light of the coins of Ilium clear, is to bring the manna of the bull in contact with the mimic trees. Tree and pillar and obelisk are all substantially one. The living tree, once cut down, becomes the pillar or an obelisk at will, and dead though it may be, does not lose its sanctity. So look here. Standing before the bull. And that looks like a cross too. All the trees tend to be sacred or possessed by an unseen life. But above all, fruit trees are sacred. They are foci of eager, collective attention. They are foci, Mycenaean tree and pillar cult. Look here, Mycenaean trees and pillar cults, y'all. Go get invited, yeah. All right, here we go. On the sarcophagus, it is clear that we have, not as in the Baphonia and architectural, but what we might call vegetation, a tree and fruit ceremony. The importance of the fruit tree and the religious reverence paid, it came out very clearly in Mycenaean gems. See, there's another one that can tell you secrets to these traditions within the gems of the ancient cults. So cool. Not only are the shrine and the sacred tree constantly and closely associated, but we have scenes of fruit gathering accompanied by ritual dances and gestures. Such a scene is depicted on the gold signet ring of Mycenae in figure 34. So they are telling us so much in these gems, which is why I really love Charles King's book, The Gnostic and the Remains, because he studies the insignia rings, the initiatory rings, and what they're saying and what they're portraying. So Charles King's book, The Gnostic and the Remains, is another good book to read when you want to learn the secrets of these ancient cults. Yep. Okay. To the right, we have a shrine with a pillar and a sacred tree. A male worshiper pulls the fruit-laden tree downwards, as though to shake off its fruits or possibly to uproot it for ritual purposes. The woman figure, perhaps a goddess, more likely a priestess, makes ritual gestures with her hands. It may be to indicate hunger. Let's see. Dr. Evans, in commenting on the ring, says a gesture for hunger common among the American Indians may supply a useful parallel. Isn't that interesting? It is made by passing the hands upwards and backwards from the sides of the body, noting a gnawing sensation. Wow. That's gorgeous. And it's over here too. A second woman leans over. Let's see, where was I? A woman figure. Okay. A woman figure, perhaps a goddess, more likely a priestess, makes ritual gestures with her hands. It may be to indicate hunger. Yeah. A second woman leans over the altar table beneath, which is a betel. Yeah. A similar scene is represented on a gold signet ring from Vipeo. Where is Vipeo? Sighting. Here, the tree is planted in a pithos, and the so-called priestess is evidently dancing. Primitive man, then, in general, is assuredly the ancient Cretan, is intensely concerned with the fruits of the earth, not at first with the worship of earth in the abstract, but with the food that comes to him out of the earth. Of course. It is mainly because she feeds him that he learns to think of earth as the mother. Yes, rightly did the ancient dove priestesses of Dodona sing. Nice. And of these fruits before cereals came in the settled agriculture, most conspicuous and arresting would be the fruits of the wild trees. The fruit-growing tree would be sacred, and its sanctity would quickly pass to other trees. There was the like sanctity, the like manna in all edible plants and roots, but the tree would stand foremost. Earth as the mother, because the fruit bearer is very clearly shown in figure 35, a design from the Hydra in the Museum of Constantinople. The scene is at Eleusis, marked by the presence of Triptomolus in his winged car. Right here. So Eleusis and the chariot and the wing that all go together and is marked for Eleusis. From the earth rises G. In her hand she bears a cornucopia full of fruits of the earth. From the cornucopia rises a child. Art could not speak more plainly. G is mother because fruit bearer. Earth then is fitly embodied by the primeval fruit bearer, the tree. Here. Earth sent up fruits, but not without help from heaven. In the scenes of fruit gathering, this is not forgotten. On the signet ring in figure 34, above the tree and the priestess is a rather rudimentary indication of the sky, a dotted line and what is probably a crescent moon. If there's any doubt what is meant, we have only to turn to the gold signet ring from the Acropolis treasure of Mycenae in figure 36. 1. Here we have the earth goddess or her priestess under her great fruit-bearing tree. She holds poppies in her hand. Worshippers approach her bearing flowers and leaf sprays. Behind her, a woman gathers fruit, while above her is all the glory of Uranus, sun and moon and Milky Way, and down from the sky come the powers of the sky, the thunder in its double manifestation of shield demon and battle axe. Shield demon and battle axe. I love it. The earth is barren till the thunder and the rainstorm smite her in the springtime. Till in his epiphany of thunder and lightning, Cyranios comes to Sarunia, the sky god weds Simile, the earth, the bride of the bladed thunder. In the light of the scene on the signet ring, we do not need to ask the significance of the axe haft into the obelisk. First rightly explained, Cretan axe coat outside Crete. That's very cool. It is the symbol, or rather, I should prefer to say the representation, the emphasis of the union of the manna of earth and sky, of what a more formal anthropoid theology would be called a sacred marriage, or Oranios and the Horoscomos, maybe, the sacred union of earth and sky. This union, this marriage, is further symbolized by the bird. But before we pass to the bird, it remains to note a curious and instructive parallel to this cult of axe and tree and bull, a parallel which takes us back for a moment to the ritual of the Bouphonia. Right there, we have our Baphomet, a ritual, a Baphometic ancient Baphomet. We shall find this parallel in a place where we little expect it, in the Erechitheon of the Athenian Acropolis. Pausanias, when he is discussing the court of the Prytaneum, were iron, and all lifeless things were brought to trial, naturally thinks of the classical instance of the axe at the Bouphonia. He makes incidentally a statement that was not, I think, received the attention it deserves. When Erechitheus was king of the Athenians, the ox slayer slew an ox for the first time on the altar of Zeus Polius. The Bouphonia was then traditionally connected not only, nor I think primarily with Zeus, but with Erechitheus. This connection of Erechitheus with the bull sacrifice is confirmed by the famous passage in the Iliad. In the catalogue of the ships, the contingent of the Athenians is thus described. Athens they held her godly citadel, realm of Erechitheus, high of heart whom's heiress Athena reared, daughter of Zeus, what time the grain giver did bear him, and she set Erechitheus there in Athens, in her own rich temple. There, as each year's feast goes round, the young men worship him with the bulls and lambs. Earth is his mother, or rather the plowed field that tilleth the grain land. Athena, the humanized form of this earth daemon, is but his foster mother. The young men, like the Chori on the sarcophagus, worship him with bulls and lambs. For the present purpose, it is of no consequence whether the passage is interpolated or not. nor does the archaeological question of the various concern us. I really hate I can't read it. That's not going to stop me from reading the book. As each year's feast goes round, it is a yearly sacrifice, for Athenian. He, Erechitheus, is there. I wish she would not put the English along with it, but there must not be an English equivalent to it. It's the only thing I can figure. All right, how long have I been going? Let's see. I've been going an hour. Try sharing screen again. It looks like it's fine. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to pick this up later because my hubby's going to be home soon. I'm going to go talk to him. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I don't know if this Bido Pine Vests, are you still around? Nope, nobody's watching. Nobody's around. Okay. Thank you all.